Hey guys, McJeffries here, and welcome back to the McJeffries Network on OpenTTD. Now today, we are starting at Planwell International, for no real reason other than I want to do a big reveal on camera. So you remember last episode we were working on the tram network, and I started working on some tram avenues. Well, since the end of last episode, I've extended the network a little bit more, and it now looks a little bit like this. So here is St. John. Sorry, this is St. Peter. That's a good start, Mark. Well done. This is Gardtown, St. Peter. And here's the tram station / bus station. And you might have noticed already that there's a new avenue that comes down this way. It hasn't been filled yet. It's still relatively empty. But this runs down through here, up and over the railway here, down through Prampool, and then into Westfield Lunwood. This side of Lunwood could do with being rebuilt. I haven't actually decided whether I want to do that or not, because at the moment it's on-road running, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. It just makes it a little bit difficult when it's when there's buses and trams running together. Something else which I've done is rebuilt some of the roads around Lunwood Station itself to try and make it a little bit nicer looking. It's not always working, of course. Some of the roads still insist on going up the hill. The big project that I worked on between last episode and this is this new avenue here. And this, for some reason, we've got these two trams that are tagging along together. And I'm convinced one of them is running late, but according to this, they're both running... Ah, there you go. That one's running 3 days late. Before, they were both running on time, which was a bit strange. But this runs all the way through Plenley, through Chenville, and into Tinningbury, and terminates over here. So, we've done trams. We could carry on doing trams today. I've got some ideas in mind for another route. One of which would come over this way. And in fact, I could just build this one here and now, because most of the infrastructure is already in place. It's just a case of cutting all this crap out here. Cutting all this crap out here. It's not nice to look at, admittedly. The fact that I'm destroying the vast majority of a town. But when it's rebuilt, it will look very nice. So I'm going to get rid of all this bit as well, because that doesn't quite work. And before it all gets rebuilt, I'm going to quickly pop these roads back in. So they scooch down like that. There'll be a cross point here. There'll be a cross point here. I'll get rid of this bit here. We might as well have another cross point here, which means moving back. Does it mean? No, it doesn't mean moving anything. Thinking about it, because I'll just do this and link that up like that. Take that out, and when it all grows back, it should cover that bit up anyway. We'll cross over the bridge here. We'll go into Dinbridge. If I pause this quickly, it would help with building. Now, with the tram, I'm trying to stick to straight lines where possible. Because I think actually tramways, I mean, they do go around curves. Don't get me wrong. It's not like they go in a constant straight line forever and ever and ever. But when it comes to this, it is easier to build in straight lines, because then you can cut off and go in different directions anyway. So I think with this one, I think what we actually want it to do is come up this way into Drenningworth. Maybe do something like that. Just thinking, if I incorporate this road here into this, so get rid of that one there, and incorporate this road as well, that should make this quite nice. So then we've got loads of different options again. This is just an avenue, you know, it runs through the middle of a city or a town. It doesn't necessarily have to be the start and end point of each individual route. Let's get rid of this bridge as well. Get rid of this. Put this back in. We'll do that. We'll get rid of this. And then here we'll add this one on there, and we'll add this one on there. Whoops. Like this. And get rid of that one. We'll get rid of that one. And we'll get rid of that one. So yeah, it's like trying to think of the right phrasing for it. It's like a gateway, really. You know, the tramway runs down here, or it runs up here, across here like this. It can then go one of two ways. It can either turn up this way or it could turn down this way. It doesn't matter which way it goes, there will always be a link-up point. That's kind of what I'm going for. Might not always end up like that, of course. But it's just an option for lots of different routes, is what I'm trying to get at. That's the main objective that I've got going here. Right. So if I do that like that, let's put a crossroad in there. We'll put one in there as well. We'll put this one in here, which means getting rid of that and that. Might as well put this one in here. Get rid of that, that, that. Get rid of this one and this one. Get rid of those and pop this one in like that. Get rid of that one, get rid of that one. Put another one in there. Let's see, what else are we missing? If I put that there, get rid of that. Get rid of that. If I get rid of all of that and that, and just reconnect this there, that should do it. Pop that bit in there like that. Get rid of all that, pop this in, cross like so. And get rid of that, get rid of that. It's an expensive job, this, you might have noticed. The last one cost me a fair bit of money to put in as well. Certainly not a cheap thing. If you're just putting tram lines on existing streets, it's perfectly fine. But if you're doing it like this, it does get quite pricey. I mean, that's a fair amount of them linked up. If I do some more here, just link these ones up. That can go across. That one connect there. That one connect there. And once we run back over here, it's working again. Then if I grab tramways and just go straight through here. So one thing I like is tramways can cross one-way streets, whereas I don't think railways can. I don't think you can have level crossings, but you can definitely have tramways. So that makes life a lot easier. Do that, and then this one will come up this way. Now I'm just looking at where it can go from here. I mean, the option I could have is just like that, like that, like that, and like that, and then the same thing on this side. And then in terms of roadways, just put the one-way arrows in. Maybe not put the one-way arrows in for this bit. I might do that later. But for tram stops, do they like me enough? They do not. Drenningworth hate me, and I'm not surprised because I've just cut a huge hole into the middle of their town. And in fact, I did want this to go down to Drenningworth Station itself, so I might continue this. Let's cut out those and those. If I just continue this, it should follow the shape of the land quite nicely. And then we'll have a new terminus down here. That gives me some more space to work with as well. So if I carry on coming down like this, do that one there, this one, whoops, here, like so. Grab the road, that will now go across like this. Take this and do that. Get rid of that bit as well. And then stick that bit there and there and there. So they're still not going to like me, but at least I can now finish this how I want it to be. Put that one there, put that one there. Cut all of this bit off. Get rid of that bit, get rid of these bits. It's one thing that frustrates me about town growth on this game, is it's very random. You can't really predict what it's going to do, but it's never quite what you want it to do. It gets very frustrating. Right, let's bribe some local authorities, shall we? Okay. Is poor enough for them to actually let me build? It seems to be. Put one there, we'll put one here. Put another one over here. For some reason these guys don't hate me, which is very odd, considering the amount of damage I've done. But there you go. Now, this line here isn't actually linked up yet, but when it is, I think we'll have one that goes from GSP to... Actually, maybe just GSP straight across down here to Drenningworth. That'll probably be the best bet. Let's just stick that in as well. The other option I was going to do was to head south as well, but that will probably come at a later date. Let's unpause the game again and get the town regrown. That's the main thing right now. Places like Prampole, when they expand, eventually the tramway will become like this, and it will look more like a tram avenue, because right now it looks a bit like... There's areas of Amsterdam where they've got tram tracks with grass growing in the middle. And in many ways it actually looks quite nice, but it's not exactly what I want from this. So I'm looking forward to it being built up. But yeah, that's tram lines done. And the trams are sort of working. They're not brilliant, but they are working. So the next task that I would like to do is buses. And I built this over here, Gardtown bus station. This is sort of going to be... I'm going to have lots of different routes that will originate from Gardtown bus station, but not... It's not going to be like the terminals, where it's only... You know, every line has to start from there and it has to finish there. It's not going to be like that at all. What this actually is... Actually, I didn't want to do that. It's kind of like what I've got with Westfield Lundwood, but a slightly lower level of importance. I'm really struggling to get my words out today. What I basically mean is it's going to be like a bus station in the middle of town, where some routes will go there but not all. So we have this central station. Originally I was going to link it up with Gardtown Woods, but then I had a horrible feeling that... sorry, Gardtown Valley. Then I had a horrible feeling that buses would actually be stopping down here and not where they should be. So there's no actual direct tram connection to Gardtown bus station, but I think if we route our lines properly, that wouldn't be an issue anyway. I don't believe so. No, I wouldn't have thought so. Anyway, let's get our first bus route going in town. So it's going to be a double-decker. I'm tempted to go for the UKB quad. It holds 190 passengers, so it's fairly big. There's this one as well, but I think this is probably too long. So I think this one will do for what I want it for. And this is a very simple line. It's going to go GSJ, GSG. Hang on. Let me just fix that. For some reason, I didn't put a road connection. I'm going to do that there. GSG. GSP. And then the bus station. And then from the bus station, it will hopefully go through this tunnel back to GSJ. And then to the depot, and then to there. This is no loading, no unloading. Whoops. This is service. This is no loading. And if I set this vehicle off and open the timetable window, I'm also going to change the name of this really quickly. Like so. Have we arrived at our first stop yet? We have now. Autofill. Perfect. So that's a very simple one. It's just utilising existing infrastructure. So there's no actual challenge there whatsoever. I am also going to rename these just for realism purposes. So that's the tram depot, this one here is the bus depot. Like so. Okay, so that's the first one done. The next one I want to do is, basically we have these avenues, and I think, I might be wrong, but I think you can just build bus stops on one-way streets. You can. It does get rid of the one-way street, but you can just plop them down, so I don't have to worry about getting rid of arrows. The reason I was worried about that is because I want to utilise some of these existing routes. So like here, what I want to do is grab these and do one on this side and one on this side, so the buses actually stop in both directions. And I kind of want to do that more than I've got with the trams, so like this. That'll be Peddingham Heights. Can I cram one here? I suppose I can, like that. And it separates them. So I wanted to do one here at Gardtown East, but I don't think I have to, because if it just stops here and then goes out this way. And this is so that we have a bigger coverage of these little towns as well. So, for example, here, if I make this Plenley, shared with Plenley, and if I move this one to there, get rid of... no, I'll leave that one where it is. So that's now Plenley, well, it's bigger. Plenley is now bigger. If I put like a little route coming through here like this, again I'm doing the double stations just because I can, really. There's no real specific reason, just if I decide to use double length buses, it just makes it easier. That's the only real reason. Let's get rid of that. I could do with tidying this up a little bit as well, so let's do that. Not too fond with the shape of these roads either. They're very messy. Is there a building there? Yes, there is. Okay. So we'll cut through this way, and then we'll join up again with the tram network down here, maybe at Chenville, or actually Plenley East is probably a good spot. One there and one there. So I might get rid of, if I move transfer away from there, if I rebuild it, in fact, where can I rebuild it? Suppose if I stick it up here. What's Chenville's problem? I brought them loads of people. How can you hate me? Built you a really good tram network. Really efficient. You should be thanking me, not having a go. Right, so that'll be one terminus. And we'll connect. It's 3 times I've tried that now. Why can't I remember that it won't let me? Connect that up like that. So it should do like a loop. In fact, if I'm moving it again, not ideal. But if I move it up here, then it's technically already on the loop as it goes round. So that'll do a loop, and then it will come back. If I stick this way now and do one there and one there, I won't do any more with Plenley. I think what I will do is move Plenley like that. So it'll have to do a little bit of jigging. So it'll have to come down through Mill that way and then back up through North that way. Unless I move Mill. I could move Mill and stick it there instead. That works. So if I have the other bus continue along this route, do another stop there. Whoops. Forget to hold control sometimes. That'll be west, even though it isn't west. Chenley itself. And then, I guess here as well, transfer. I don't want too many stops. But then saying that, the tram helps in that sense. It's very confusing to try and explain whilst building, so you'll have to bear with me a second. Well, okay, I'll stop building for a second so I'd explain it. What I basically mean is, you've seen me do this with other systems, but I'm doing it here as well. What's basically happening is, we've got this system set up so that pretty much every other bus stop there is a tram stop. And that's important, because if you end up with too many sorry, I'm just doing this again very quickly. Right, if you end up with too many stops between services or without transfer, then buses or trams or trains or whatever get full. And that's the lesson I've learned from playing this game, is they get full. Once they're full, they struggle. Basically, you don't get any money from them. It's impossible to get money from them. So the solution that I've come up with is this, to have these transfers dotted all over the place. So in this sense, the bus will go a stop, it'll pick up passengers, it'll then go to the next stop where it will drop those passengers off and they'll transfer onto a tram. The tram will then go a couple of stops and eventually there'll be another connection. So here there isn't one, but eventually in the future there will be. There might also be things like express trams or express buses, things like that. Just something that will make it go that little bit quicker again. That is the plan. Whether it actually works that way or not, who knows? But that is the plan. So we'll wait and see. These have got good capacity, these vehicles. So in theory, there shouldn't be that much of an issue. But I have noticed when testing the trams that there was a bit of a choke point, especially on this line. These vehicles do fill up quite fast at Tinningbury, and once they're full, you know, they stay full. But we'll give this a go, and we'll see how well it works. So we'll grab this, new vehicles. Now I think with this one I might go for the bendy bus, just because I don't want all my vehicles to be exactly the same. I'd like them to be a little bit different. So for this purpose, if I unpin that and just pin this one, for this purpose I will try the bendy bus. So this is actually going to run from Gardtown bus station. It's where I'd like most of my lines to originate from, bus lines anyway. Not so much with the stations. They might go from the bus station to the train station, but they won't start from here necessarily. Some will though. That's what I said. It's all mixed up. It's all varied. That's what's going to make this great. But from the bus station, we're then going to come down here, and again already I've forgotten to put in the double length. Do I want double length? I do really, don't I? I can't not have it now because I've put it in so many other places, and I've got the double length vehicle, so I'm going to have to put it in, which means getting rid of this bit of road here and getting rid of this bit of road here. Whoops. Popping that one there and that one there, and then just filling in this one with arrows. See, this one isn't double length either, but again I can change that just by getting rid of this bit. Replace this one with arrows and stick that there and there. This one also, I'm going to be lazy with this one and just do this, because it shouldn't come down this way anyway because of the way that's set up. Okay. So, Gardtown bus station. It then goes to this stop here. Why doesn't this stop have a name? Oh, because it links up with Gardtown Financial. That's why. I forgot about that. Bloody hell. Okay. Then it goes Pettingham Heights. Then it goes Plenley West. Then Plenley itself. Now this one is going to be the one that... And again, I'm going to just fill this in. Call it a roundabout or whatever. I don't really care. We'll make this... I might make some of these one way, actually. Because that might help with vehicle control. So that one will be that. We'll say this one is this way. And it might just help stop vehicles from going the wrong way down these. So actually, let's say that one goes that way. That one goes that way. We'll have like a roundabout sort of thing. We'll leave that one be a two-way. And that one. In fact, the majority of these now can be two-way. Except here. I think here I'd want another roundabout. Like that. Okay, so we got to Plenley. Now this route from here, I think the first one I will have go Plenley Mill, Plenley North, Is there a stop missing? There's a stop missing somewhere. Let me just pop this. Plenty halt. Plenty transfer. And then it will come back. Plenty north. Plenty mill. Plenty. And then back this way. To Gardtown Financial. And then straight across from here back to bus station. And then bus station to depot, and like that. This is going to be no loading, no unloading. This is going to be service. This is going to be no loading. We'll flick that into timetable. We'll set this off. We'll unpause the game. I don't know why I keep pausing the game, to be perfectly honest. You don't really need to. We'll wait for this one to reach its first stop. Now I went for the really big bus for this route because I'm imagining there's a lot of people that want to go cross town. We've got the trams that do it, but the trams do stop along the way. We've got the trains that do it, but they go the long way round. This goes literally cuts straight through the town. So if I actually come over here now, does this have anybody on board? It's still empty. I think that's because it still hasn't twigged that it's actually a functioning... Oh, hang on. Oh, there's no one on board. It is auto-filling. That one doesn't quite make sense to me. Oh well, we'll fix that in a second if we have to. In the meantime, I am just waiting for this bus, which is coming into the bus station now. There it is. So this one is already loading up. It must be because this has got passengers who just want to go anywhere. Yes. Okay, so you're now on your way, so I'm going to autofill you. This bus, which is heading towards St. John, I'm noticing it's not using the tunnel, which is quite interesting. It's actually going the long way around. Is it going to cross the bridge? Yeah. Ah, I think it's actually using the side streets rather than the avenue. That's alright. There's nothing that suggests that the avenue is necessarily a faster route. It's just a thing to put the trams in the middle of, which I think looks quite cool. That actually could have fitted within a single tile. Oh well. There'll be other vehicles that will need more space. Plus you can then have two of these queuing up one behind the other. Okay, we now have people on board here. I am going to tweak the timetable though. So you're still auto-filling quite nicely. But whilst you're doing that, I am going to start changing this. This is going to wait 5 days at each of these stops, just to make sure that it can be as full as possible. You can see where it was really starting to pick up passengers. Let's send you back to depot quickly so I can finish this off. You are going to also wait for 5 days, even though you're emptying, and then here you're going to wait for 10 days just to get the going again. Right, we're going to open up the vehicles panel here. We're going to do Gardtown Bus as a heading, and then we're going to do another one here, which is going to be B GSJ to GSJ via, let's say, GBS, Gardtown Bus Station. Like so. We're going to grab you and stick you in there, and then we're actually going to stick you in there. We might as well do the other group whilst we're here. So you are a bus. You go from GBS to PT. Like so. You also go in this category here. Scroll down a second. You go in there. Okay, let's get rid of that for a second. We'll come back over here. We'll clone this a couple of times. 1 and 2, maybe 3. We'll do 4 on this route, I think. Start date, just set it like that, and then we'll set all of you off. There should be enough capacity within St. John for that to be possible. We'll wait for this little fella to come back. I think it's on its way back. You on your way back? Where are you? Yeah, you're on your way back. Now this does use the avenues, so that works out quite nicely. Some of these though, Peddingham Heights, I'm not entirely convinced about right now, but in the future it might prove me wrong. Got a little bit of a queue here, but the trams shouldn't be put off by that, because there's still the other loading bay. I think 2 loading bays per station should be enough. Again, when I say that this isn't the main... I mean, I could do a tram link down here if I wanted to, and then have this as sort of the main stopping point of the entire system. That is definitely a possibility that I have considered. And in fact, already I can see I can have the line come up this way, rejig some of these roads slightly, and that would work out quite nicely. Plus we've got these extra tram lines, which I'm probably going to do off camera, because we are coming up to the end of the episode. It's been half an hour, which is a shame. I feel like these episodes fly by and I never really get much done. I think the actual big tram rebuild that we did a couple of episodes ago, including last episode, that's probably the most I would say that I've done for a fairly long time in terms of brand new builds. Before that, it was mostly just redoing existing services, rebuilding small bits of line and re-adding trains and things like that. Nothing really new. In the future there will be lots of new, because we've still got some new lines to actually build coming out of Great Barnville Junction, for example, and Frampool Victoria and Homford Interchange. There's a lot of stuff there that still needs to be done. Plus, we've still got to put all the diesel trains coming out of GSG. I did some rejigging with electrification, which now means that some of the freight trains have actually been re-diverted to this line now, because it is electrified all the way through here, all the way through here. In fact, there is one. That is a coal train on its way to the steel plant. Look at that. The goods trains also use this line now as well, which confused me because I saw one going the wrong way and thought I'd messed up somewhere, but I haven't. There's another one that's going to lumber. It's going for a service first, and then it's going to pick up wood. But if you come on down this way still, here's the dock, where it picks up coal and oil. Also drops off engineering supplies, which we don't seem to have much of. And here is the difference. This used to be a bridge going over, but I've now done this, which doesn't look great. And I might actually get rid of Drogheda Quarry Station whilst I'm here, just because we don't really need it anymore. There we are. Yeah, I mean, it's not ideal having it curve like this, but I wanted to re-electrify this side, because then what I have done up here at Donfingley Parkway, we now have a straight across electrified line. So we actually now have the possibility of a loop line that will go from GSG via Fenthill, via Donfingley, via the station down here. Where are we? Here. Denfingway on Sea, that's being changed. Might just call it Denfingway, although I think we've already got a town called Denfingway, so that's going to make things tricky. Slonwood Woods, we don't need. Get rid of that. And then back to GSG. And then we'll have like a local version, a semi-fast version, and maybe an express version. Might just need the 2 actually. And then the express line, I don't really know what that could be used for. I might even take this down to 2 tracks, if necessary. But yes, this actually needs to go back to depot now. In fact, are you still auto-filling? You're still auto-filling. Okay then, in that case, what I'm going to do is leave this running. That shouldn't have interrupted the autofill. I'm hoping it didn't. No, it didn't. Good. Alright, I'm going to leave this running, guys, and I'm going to finish it off camera. And then also I'm going to put in these new tram routes off camera as well. So, up to... do you know what, this one here? It does stop at Westfield Longwood, and I will put a stop there, but I think I'll also have it continue this way. And maybe take advantage of Corston. And do that as a route. So it will go from... probably GSP, because it's right here. And then it'll come down this way, and then across this way, and then up to Corston, and then back. And then the other route I will do from... Actually, I think I'll do this one from GSG, because then I can do this one from GSP, and it'll come straight through here, up and over this hill, and down to Drenningworth. That's what I'm going to do. But as I say, I'm going to do all that off camera, because I'm going to follow this now so I can actually finish timetabling this service. So, don't forget to put a comment below if you have any ideas for future ideas. That makes sense. I'm going to say it now rather than at the end of the the sign off, because it doesn't really make sense putting it there. So yeah, if you have any ideas, feel free to suggest them. Until next time, guys, thank you very much for watching. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, be sure to click the subscribe button. If you have already subscribed to my channel, thank you guys for your continued support. Don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and of course if you're enjoying the series. And until next time, I will see you soon.